He has one of the most original and poetic voices in the history of American popular music. Bob Dylan's instantly recognizable voice and unforgettable lyrics brought music and prose together like never before. Dylan's album, The Times They Are A-Changin', firmly established him as the definitive songwriter of the 60s protest movement. And his reputation only increased after he became involved with one of the movement's established icons, Joan Baez. His early lyrics incorporated a variety of political, social, and philosophical messages, defying existing pop music conventions and appealing to the then mushrooming counterculture. Whether he wanted to be or not, Bob Dylan was heralded as the spokesman for his generation, writing and singing folk songs that were deep and moving. Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind became an anthem of the civil rights and anti-war movements. Bob Dylan had become the reluctant figurehead of social unrest. During the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, he wrote A Hard Rain's A Gonna Fall, portraying a sense of terror with the song's poetic images. Bob Dylan was just 22 and seemed wise beyond his years. He was able to bring his personal vision and political commitments together with a power and beauty that has never been replicated. By 1963, Dylan and girlfriend Joan Baez were both prominent in the civil rights movement, singing together at the March on Washington. His third album, The Times They Are A-Changin', reflected a more politicized and cynical view of the world. By the end of 1963, Dylan felt both manipulated and constrained by the folk and protest movements. Toward the end of 1964 and into '65, Dylan's appearance and musical style changed rapidly as he went from the leading songwriter of the folk scene to folk rock music star. Bob Dylan has been described as one of the most influential figures of the 20th century, musically and culturally. Hailed as a master poet, caustic social critic, and intrepid guiding spirit of the counterculture generation. Bob Dylan gave his first full interview in 20 years for a documentary released in 2005. Called No Direction Home, Bob Dylan, the film was directed by Martin Scorsese. The movie traces his life and his impact on 20th century American popular music and culture.
The honesty of expression, and also there's something just rhythmically about someone that you respond to as well, and you can find that in your own rhythms. Certainly I do, when I act, whether it be him or Lennon or McCartney, any of those people.
No, I met him briefly a few times. I'm just a big fan of one of the greatest visionary songwriters of the last 50 years. So he's just someone in music history that's so valuable. He loves the form so deeply of songwriting. I just kind of wish they could take that myth off of him and all that weight off of him and just let him be a traveling troubadour, musician, giving us these beautiful songs, you know?
Just his uniqueness, you know, is obviously his lyrics, and the fact that he's still playing it every day for 300 days a year. He's kind of like a genius gypsy, you know?
So that's really all I wanted to say. The songs are beautiful in a way that you don't always say, well, that word beautiful exists for this song. You know?
Later in his career, Bob Dylan would move away from political themes and towards personal love songs. But his stream of consciousness narratives will always stand as an expression of the political and the personal in music. Bob Dylan has been music's master poet and ever-changing performer.